Hey guys, another video for our castles, temples and old buildings in Japan playlist. Just before we go walking around this temple, just have a quick look at this old illustration of the place, just to give you an idea of the layout, because it's sort of an interesting design. The central area there surrounded by a moat with the keep at the top of the hill, and then there's a second moat. So this castle is in Hikone, which is in Shiga Prefecture, and it adjoins Lake Biwa, which is the biggest lake in Japan, biggest inland lake in Japan. So yeah, they have an unlimited supply of water basically, so they put it to good use and built this very clever double moat system. So obviously the people in the centre where the keep is are very secure, and then their friends on this sort of second area between the two moats are pretty secure, and then the people outside there can just fend for themselves, can't they? So it's a pretty good design. It's one of the best designed castles we've seen. It's excellent. One of the top 5 in Japan apparently. So there's the old town there, and then here's the outer moat. So of course you can just enjoy this for what it is. Some nice images and some interesting history, and just enjoy it for what it is. Whenever we visit castles, however, we enjoy imagining what it would have been like trying to take the place. So you imagine this is the first line of defense. So we're going to be walking from here to the top of the keep, so the very top of the main building. So just imagine on the top of these walls would have been guardhouses. So particularly where there's corners, anywhere there's a corner they usually had a guardhouse. So in that guardhouse would have been a bunch of guys with either bows and arrows or muskets, depending on what year you decided to attack the place. So this place was built in 1600 or about 1602, so it's about 400 years old. So there have been guys on the tops of these walls, and see this 90-degree angle. It's really common in Japanese castles, lots of 90-degree angles, because while you walk through this 90 degrees you can be attacked from all sides from above. So really bad place to be. There'd be a bunch of guys there firing arrows, shooting muskets, throwing rocks. We've actually seen in castles they had stores of rocks piled up to just throw rocks down on you, because you can imagine trying to scale up the walls or try to get past the walls or get across this bridge. People throwing big rocks down on you would not help, would it? So this is also the outer moat, and this is a different entrance. So it had 4 or 5 bridges across the moat that were defended by those white towers. So there's those white towers. You can see that's what they look like normally. So sometimes they survive, sometimes they don't. There's one that survived. The corner just to our left there, obviously it hasn't survived. But we know from what has survived what would have been on the other corners. So that's where we're trying to get to, right? That's the guy we want to get up the top of the hill there. There's a daimyo up in there that we're trying to get. So there would have been one of those white towers just to the left of us there on that corner. And this is a gatehouse here. So we've got round that corner without being killed. Now we've got to the second moat. And exactly the same as the first. You can see the stone walls to the right and left of the bridge, and then directly ahead of us too, and there's another 90-degree angle. So just check out how many 90 degrees we've got to go around. As we're enjoying the beauty of the place, not to say we shouldn't take a moment to really enjoy how beautiful this is. Really is, isn't it? So there's that wall. Would have had a tower on the left there. There would have been a tower on the right there, and then one straight ahead. Up there. So those guys up there again, firing arrows and muskets and throwing rocks, hurling abuse, taunting. So we've got through there. Now we've got to get up these stairs. A lot of stairs in castles. Those of you who have visited castles, always lots of stairs. That's just the deal, isn't it? And always a hard climb. They don't want to make it an easy climb, of course. So we're trying to get up the stairs here while they're hailing down arrows and stones and musket balls. Interestingly, a lot of castles like this were never attacked because they were just too good. Himeji Castle is probably the most famous. That's the one everybody's seen pictures of from Japan. Himeji is the biggest and the oldest and the most original and the best maintained and the most impressive. It really is impressive. And it was never attacked because the other guys just thought it was just impossible, which it probably would have been. So again, all these 90-degree angles. Guys up there, guys up there. It is beautiful, isn't it? Guys up there. Great place for a tower. They can get you as you come right up around them. So we've got this guardhouse ahead of us here. At the other end of this little bridge. And this actually gives us a bit of an opportunity to have a look inside the guardhouse and see what the view is like from in there, looking back here at us. So now we're inside that guardhouse. So usually with these, they had guys barracked in there, and there would have been some guys off duty and some guys on duty 24 hours a day. So they would have had sleeping areas here where they slept. Usually these places are big open spaces now, but they would have been partitioned up with the sort of sliding decorative doors we've showed you in the past. So see the triangular shape there? Makes it really easy to shoot out pretty well 90 degrees, from left to right. But it makes it really hard to shoot in. That's a triangle. That one there is actually used to shoot out of. They filled it at some stage, but it was actually made to shoot out of as well. But you can see they've got almost 90-degree view out the window, but very hard to hit them between those slats. So that's the view they've got down there on that bridge from each window. And below that bridge, we haven't got to the bridge yet, and they've got us coming up those stairs we came up, that big long line of stairs. So just brilliant designs, aren't they? Just looking at these beams for a moment, have a look at them. We showed you lots of buildings with that raw timber type finish, just trees basically. So again, there we are. We could hail down some stones on those people, couldn't we? Some arrows, some musket balls. Like walking through history, 400 years old. Isn't that great? So you're getting the idea. Every time we look up at one of those white guardhouses with the slit windows, you can just imagine this is their view looking back down. And how many guys there could be in too. This is actually the main guardhouse to the sort of central keep area. So it's sort of their major last line of defence. Yeah, just look at this. See, it's been chipped out. They had a little sort of a chippy tool with a handle. Chip, 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 chip. So they start with a tree and then chip, chip, chip till they get sort of a rectangular shape. So now we've got a different perspective, haven't we, crossing this bridge? So tiled roof. Those white buildings have tiled roofs, and they have mud walls that are made on bamboo frames and timber frames. So very hard to set them on fire from the outside, of course. That timber you could if you could get close enough. See the little door? So rather than open the big doors and let lots of people in, they could just open the little door and just let one person in at a time. Much easier for controlling the entrance, isn't it? So another 90 degrees. See how many there are? 90 degrees, then another 90, then another 90 as you go up the hill all the way. Amazing stonework too, you know, those huge stones all laid together. when you consider they had no tools to work with except hand tools, chip, 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 to make those stones fit together. Oh, this bell is quite famous in Hikone. Have a listen to it. The camera really didn't like the initial impact. If you visit Hikone, pretty well anywhere in town, you will hear that bell ring about 6 or 7 times a day on the hour. It rings on the hour, and it's really loud, as you could tell. So a couple more 90-degree turns here. You see the keep up the top? That's the main keep. So that's the goal. That's where we're trying to get to, isn't it? Amazing doors, aren't they? See the little door on the left there again? Little door to let people through one at a time, so you don't have to open the big door. Yes, who is it? No, we don't want any, thank you. We're just about there. 2 more 90-degree turns. One more guardhouse. Boom, there it is. But keep in mind, we haven't got him yet. We've just got to there. So the daimyo and 100 of his favourite soldiers are still up in that building. Right? So he's up on the top floor. So we've still got to get up there yet. And keep in mind, they're all up there, again, still firing musket balls and arrows and rocks. And taunts. Taunting us. Beautiful. See the birds? There are lots of birds flying around up here. So here's the main door of the main keep. Check that out. Coated in metal. No bare wood on the outside of that building at all. And until you get through the door, then you get the framing. And the steepest stairs, always Japanese castles have got these majorly steep stairs, really easy to defend. And what they did at the top of each set of stairs, they actually had a door, horizontal door, like a hatch, that they just put down and put a big sliding piece of wood across. So you'd have to come up those steep stairs and then push yourself up through at the hatch, which is just impossible, of course. They could put as much weight as they wanted on top of it. And just a series of these steep stairs. Those of you who've seen this playlist, this castles playlist, we've already showed you half a dozen other castles that are similar to this one. Pretty similar in design too, some variations. The double moat on this one's different. And as always, the most amazing view in all directions. Just beautiful, beautiful wood everywhere. The floorboards, big, wide floorboards. Smooth, really smooth, because they've had people sliding around on them for 400 years, and it's just made them smooth. So again, these are those firing points. So they open, those triangles and those squares open up. So you can fire arrows out through them or shoot muskets out through them. Those of you who are interested too, somewhere on our other playlist we do actually have muskets, old muskets of different sizes. Some were small, some were huge, like handheld cannons, some of them, with huge big musket balls. So we're up the top, finally made it up there. They put chicken wire at the top there. A lot of birds in Hikone because it's next to the lake. Lots and lots of birds. So they've had to put the chicken wire up on the windows to stop the birds getting inside. So see the top of the stairs there? There's sort of an edge. If you look, you can see it. There's an edge that goes around at the top. So there would have been a door that lay down horizontally, and just put some big sliding boards across to hold it down, and then as much weight as you want on top, right? 3 of your heaviest dudes sitting on top of it. Oh, it's a funny little hidden thing too. We've seen these before. Sometimes they used them for guards to sleep in, to keep them sort of out of sight. They could go in there and sleep. I'm not quite sure about that one. It's a bit smaller. There's a shooting point in there to shoot out through. Funny little space. We've seen different things like that. Some of you would have seen videos we made, showed you things like that, but they're usually a bit bigger, and guys could sleep in there. Amazing, again, amazing view out over the lake. Biggest inland lake in Japan. It's huge, Biwako. Lake Biwa. Very impressive. You would have seen a video we did. We flew over that at one stage. Another shooting point. Sometimes they actually just had overhangs that they could just throw rocks out of. On the one that we showed you, Inuyama Castle had those big slots in the floor where they just drop rocks on the people trying to climb up the wall. Beautiful view, beautiful area, isn't it? Mountains behind and lake in front, just beautiful. So there was a watchtower here originally that had a better view than the keep, apparently. Hasn't survived. So here we are down in the gardens. This is the special gardens, the daimyo's gardens, where he used to go down and hang out, have his barbecues, and you can see the castle from there, quite beautiful. So we'll show you that garden in a future video, and some other good stuff from the castle too. Anyway, there it was. Hope you enjoyed that. More videos coming soon.